Hello guys, so it's day 4 from the video of back pain and me getting myself out and beyond. So hopefully you've watched the first video, which is day 1 and 2, you've watched day 3, here we are at day 4. So what's changed between day 3 and day 4? We are now at 2:30 on day 4, and remember, this is done in one take, no editing, it is what it is. So by now you should have had enough of the 6 areas I keep talking to you about. I'm going to go to the first one, movement. So what have I done? Improved. You can probably tell just by the way I'm sitting. I'm in a much more comfortable scenario. It is not perfect. I could not go for a jog. If I went for a jog, we'd be in a bit of a problem. So there is still holding on tension within the muscles, but it's greatly improved. How do I know that? Because I'm walking around more, I'm moving around more, and I feel like I can move around more. We actually took the dog out for a walk this morning, short walk. Still, we actually walked through gingerly through like a slight wooded area, and there's a couple of low branches. So ducking under those is when it really comes in, because what I'm trying to do is keep a neutral spine rather than rounding my spine off, and you're kind of like squatting under a tree. It is what it is. You look like a bit of a prat doing it, but that's just with the intuition that the body says, no, we don't want to go into this loaded position. And fine, listen to your body. I've upped the stretching. What I mean by that is I've upped all my upper body stretching. I've started to include, and if you don't know what stretches you should be doing for your upper body, this is where the prevention in the long term will come in, because you need to be assessed to know which ones are short and tight so you can stretch them. But I've been opening up the pec muscles, opening up the neck, because what affects the neck affects the pelvis and vice versa, and the back, it's all connected. If you it depends where people are on their journey and their understanding, but the left foot is connected to the right shoulder and the left shoulder, and it's all interlinked. So by doing one, we help the other. By not doing one, we can potentially hinder the other. So all stretches are in. In terms of lower body stretches, I've been stretching out the QL muscle, the lower back muscle, very gently. Still with that one, it doesn't want to go into a deep stretch at all. And all I've been doing for that one at the moment is going on all fours, like we were with the happy cat, angry cat. Let me bring you down to the floor. So like we were the happy cat, angry cat in this position. And all I'm doing, so if I'm square onto you, is I'm just rotating ever so slightly, just feeling the edge of that. I know that moving to the right is quite restricted. If I go, going to the left is quite restricted, stretching the right. If I go this side, I can go, you can see I can go significantly further around, and there's no rotation, which means that the left is releasing quicker than the right. So that's just something for me to be aware of. The hamstring stretches. Now, to do the hamstring stretches, this is not how I usually do hamstrings, but this is what intuition has guided me. So I'm literally going into this position, putting my leg out and putting my foot against a stop, a door, a wall, anything. I'm squaring my body to target, and I'm not reaching to touch my toes. I'm keeping my body nice and high, and I'm just bending at the hip, not at the back, at the hip, so my back staying neutral. So I could reach, and I'm not going to, I'm just going to hold that position. They've been going quite tight during this scenario, so I'm making sure I stay on top of my hamstring stretches, and I'm not forcing them, as you can see. It feels lovely. Just sitting in there. I'm probably doing that, I don't know, 5-6 times a day. Both legs, doing them both, and I'm holding them for about 30 seconds a time now. Obviously, if my body told me, it's like you get intuition of having enough of stretching, then it will tell you don't do the stretching. I'm also stretching out my glute med, and to do that, I'm doing a stretch called the 1990 stretch. You're not really going to see it in this position, but you can YouTube what the 1990 stretch is, or type in check 1990, you'll see it, as in CHEK, check practitioner, you'll see that on YouTube. I've been doing a bit of rotation work because the body's ready for a bit of rotation work. I've been doing it in a standing position, but just gentle, very, very gentle rotation work. Not much, just using my intuition to guide me. And I put a note on here that says, do not fiddle. In between like doing this stretching work, when I decide to do them, I'm not testing it all the time and fiddling. You don't want to be fiddling. Just do the stretches or the mobilizations or the walking that you set to do when you set to do them, and then don't fiddle in between, continually checking for them. Hot water is definitely your friend. I had 2 baths yesterday, plus hot water bowl, plus a heated blanket in bed, just trying to keep that heat in the body. Hello, we have a friend. How are you? You all right? You can come and say hello. You can sit right in front of the camera. That is fine, you do that. So hot water is your friend. I've also done a bit of glute release work using that. No, and I'm literally standing up and leaning into that on the wall. I'm using that around my glute med area. Gentle pressure, because the glute med, as I say, everywhere is associated to it everywhere else. So you literally stand on the glute med area. You can just Google where the glute medius is. But if that's the top of my hip bone, or top of my pelvis, sorry, this is great, Fox. Then literally that's the glute max. It's just above it on the side, and all I'm doing is I'm just putting it on the wall, leaning in, and just putting a bit of pressure and gently moving my body around just for 30 seconds, putting pressure into the ball. It's acting as a bit of a massage. It's getting the gunk out of the system is what I call it. But there are enough images on Google as to where the glute med muscle is. I've been doing alternating leg drops. So all you do for alternating leg drops, stay, don't move. All I do, wait, he's going to come to me, that's fine, is I lay in this position and I alternate leg drop. Oh, Fox, what are you doing? So you're making so good. So all I do is I drop one leg out to the side, breathing in, and then breathing out, bringing it up. And then the other leg, just drop to the side, wherever it goes to, and then breathing out on the way up. And I just keep alternating through those. My heart rate should not go up at all. My breathing rate should not go up. Hello. And it's just giving a nice mobilization in the area. I've also started doing some Feldenkrais work. I've been doing the Feldenkrais. Are you doing Feldenkrais, are you? Feldenkrais hip and spine integrator. And what I will do is shoot a video on that, because that is a very, very specific exercise that you need to get right. So I want to be in the correct position for that. But if you know, Feldenkrais stuff is very well known. It will be on the internet anyhow, but you want it to be taught correctly. So yeah, Feldenkrais work is fantastic. I will do a video on that one. Okay, so that kind of sums up the movement, and it's just getting better. All I say to you is this: if you are stretching and you know, imagine you got 5 degrees, which in the long term is great, but imagine you got 5 degrees of your range of movement back in a day. You're like, well, that's 5 degrees. That's barely anything. That's correct. 5 degrees is not a huge amount of what you're getting back, but 5 degrees in 4 days is 20 degrees. Yeah, that's good math. And that 20 degrees, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, and that's where the gains come in. So this is a slow process. Breathing, still working on breathing mechanics, but now I'm doing tummy draws. So when I'm laying down on the floor, or even when I'm sat up, what I'm doing is this. So this is the breathing so far, 2/3 to here, 1/3 to here. But what I'm now doing is adding a tummy draw. So if you just watch. What did I do? I breathed in, held my breath, and I drew my belly button back towards my spine. Now, this does require some skill to go into, but simply put, I'm not hollowing out my ribs. I'm imagining like there was an object going towards my tummy, or if there's a knife going towards my tummy, but I can't move because I was against the wall. How do I get away from the knife? I pull my belly button back, and it's that drawing of those muscles back which is actually activating deep core stabilizers, transverse abdominis muscles. So when I do that, I draw back and I breathe out through what we call pursed lips. So a picture paints 1,000 words, so here it is again. pulling at the core, breathing out through the mouth. You can hear, I could have kept breathing out for a long period of time. There's barely any air coming out, almost like gently letting the valve out of a bicycle inner tube or something, just, and you should actually feel the pressure as you're breathing out. There should be a pressure build up. It shouldn't be, that's just, you're just letting all the air out. We're trying to hold a pressure whilst pulling back. So I'm making sure those core muscles are waking up because the core supports the back. And when you hear a video that I'm going to do in a few days, which will say how I got into this situation, you will see how relevant what I've just said is. Sleep, much better. Stiff in the morning still, but not like yesterday. If yesterday was like, if 10 out of 10 would be you couldn't move out of bed, yesterday, when I woke up it was about 6, this morning it was about 3.5. So we've got improvement there, and sleep was much better through the night. So that's fantastic. Hydration, picking up from why that last video cut. I don't know why it did, but it did. So hydration, the equation for that. I'm ensuring I get at least a pint of water in my body at the start of the day. So this morning, that pint went in at least 20 minutes since that pint of water, and that isn't necking it, that's sipping it over a period of time. Allow that to go in the system, and then consume food, and that was, that water helps the whole digestive process. Thinking, the alarm systems have calmed down. Hopefully yours are calming, but we probably still have to work with those. So, safety behaviors, as we talked about in the previous one. Watch funny things. Don't go into watching news. Don't go to watching dramas or things that can raise a lot of emotion within us. Definitely stay away from horrors at the moment. You just want to be watching things that are quite calming to the nervous system. Laughter is one of the biggest positives that you can take. So pull out your old DVD collection of things that used to make you laugh, or just watch funny programs on Netflix or whatever. That will help with the thinking, and obviously the more you can move around, the more you can see. So getting around nature when you can really helps. And then the last one was nutrition. I've just kept up with the protein and fats, so make sure you stay on top of those. The protein is the building block for your recovery. So yes, where are we? That's all the 6 areas. Sorry, the video cutting kind of threw me there. So this brings us up to the end of the video for day 4. I will continue with those things, and then anything that I add in between, as and when the body says, then I will put onto tomorrow's video, and you will see the progression, because I've got to get to exercise. this body, as it gets better, I then need to put the training in place to make sure that I stabilize and reinvigorate, I'm going to say, but that's not quite right, the muscles into activity, and then I'm going to chase the injury or the dysfunction or whatever happened out the system. I'm not just going to go, oh, I'm better now. I chase it out of the system through the exercise and continue with the good nutrition, etc. And then I'm going to go to sports performance level training, so I know that my body is ready to perform in a sporting situation, as opposed to I feel better, and then the first time my body's going to experience that is on the pitch or the court or the playing field. That's just not smart, and that's going to re-invite a reoccurrence or a re-injury. We definitely don't want that. Anyhow, that's the end of the video, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.